and Damon here from Games, Brrraains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial.com for short, and it's They Made What into a TV series, Castlevania, the last episode of Season 3, episode number 10, the oh so wonderfully titled Abandon All Hope. There you go. And by the end of it, you will understand what it means, because this is a breaking of the norm. Not only is there nothing peaceful about this episode, unless you can't count the last minute or two, it's not a smiles, it's not about happy moments, It's not about that. It kind of feels this is the darkness that's clouding over the world of Castlevania now. And there's nothing really going to be able to stop it because everybody's been affected by it. Directed by Sam Dietz, written by Warren Ellis, of course. And we begin as Isaac searches the Magician's Tower for the mirror. Coming across a locked door, he busts in and finds a huge hall with shards of the mirror floating around. Isaac addresses the mirror and starts to wonder if he has been alone too long as he's talking to it before putting it back together. Who else spoke like that? Alucard.
Yeah.
And obviously this episode's going to arguably flip him over into positions. Yeah. He uses it to serve Miranda before telling his night creatures to kill the people of the city but leave it standing. He wonders if others will occupy the city in future or if it will stand as a monument to what he did here. I thought that was an interesting sort of thing, you know? Philosophical thought process, as it were.
Yeah.
In the monastery basement, Trevor and Cypher battle the night creatures while Jaman tries closing the portal to hell. And it is, of course, as exciting as you would expect. It's spectacular. It's Castlevania action. Indeed. The biggest problem being the visitor that keeps regenerating via the souls of the dead from Lindenfell. So that's the biggest problem there, the visitor itself. Outside, the judge and his men have defeated the monks, but Lindenfell burns. There ain't much left of this town afterwards.
Nope.
Seeing Salah try to escape, the judge stops him, but Salah stabs him in the stomach. How about that, eh?
Yep.
The judge warns Salah that he won't escape his men, but tells him of a secret path he can take. Salah wonders, why would the judge tell him this? And the judge says that Salah was a better judge than he was. Salah leaves and the judge falls to the floor dying but chuckling to himself. So he kind of knew he'd sent him somewhere bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a bit like, okay, that was a weird scene.
It wasn't doing it.
All will be revealed. Inside, the battle continues, and it's interesting to see that both Cypher and Trevor get injured here as well.
Yeah,
I hear this ties into Isaac being injured in a previous episode, and they're having to fight a lot separately here as well, and seems a lot tougher than they've ever dealt with before.
Yeah, well, I said to you off camera, like this is the first proper time, other than when. Like the first episode when Trevor was drunk, you get to see Trevor fight by himself.
Yeah.
And using all his abilities, both his whips.
Yeah, because he arguably goes super here, pulling out both his whips and inflicting an incredible amount of damage on the visitor, but it still won't die, it still stands. Saint Germain is having trouble shutting the portal and makes the unfortunate thing of gazing upon Dracula and Lisa, catching eyes. Furious that all his death and destruction is just to bring them back. Because Saint Germain realises what the goal is, and he's like, are you basically all of this for them?
Are you kidding?
Yeah. For them. He turns his attention to the visitor, realising he can use it to close the portal, seeing as that's what opened it. He gets on top, uses a stone to force the visitor to close the hell portal, just as we see Dracula reach a hand out.
Yep.
So that closes the portal, but doesn't that mean Dracula knows and is aware? And what does he,
exactly.
But if he's with Lisa, isn't he in a happy place?
Unless he plans to bring her with him.
But what does that mean?
Exactly.
That's the thing. These are the questions, aren't there?
I mean, I don't know the exact. I can't remember the exact line, but when Saint Germain jumps in the creature and he uses his magic, Trevor says something like, "Oh yeah, I forgot you could." I forgot you, like you're a mage.
A magician, a mage. Like he's not a speaker, but he's like he's got powers.
And obviously going back to that, what we said before about the fact that he's hidden himself, and how he can get around.
Yeah, this is Saint Germain power. Yeah, it's not over yet though. As Saint Germain opens up another gateway into the infinite corridor that leads to the mysterious woman, he tells Trevor to kill the visitor, which Trevor is finally able to do, and Saint Germain leaps off of it into the infinite corridor. As it closes, he thanks them, declares that he'll see them again, and disappears into the infinite corridor.
I hope so, because I think this character's got so much potential.
So much potential.
Yep.
Absolutely. It's an interesting, even if that was an ending, and he like, even if that was an ending from, I'd be cool with it. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
the thought, you know, of Saint-Germain wandering the infinite corridors to find what is, we believe, is lost love, is cool. You know, it's an interesting ending for him.
Yeah.
Alucard. Right, Alucard. Taka and Sumi accuse Alucard of holding his knowledge of magic from them and not teaching them how to operate the castle. Alucard tries to talk them down from their mistrusting position, but they're too far gone. I felt sorry for them. I didn't really see them as villains at any point, and even here, they have been almost driven mad by the stuff that Cho did to them, that they can't trust anybody but each other.
Yep.
So even though Alucard is trying to do good for them, they're worse than him.
Yep.
They're so mistrusting, but they're also so impatient that's the problem. Like this evil turn isn't an evil turn.
Nope.
It is a mistake. That's all it is.
That's what I gather too. And the reason, in my opinion, why Alucard was going so slow is because he wanted to keep them there longer. He wanted the company. He was happy for the company.
Well, I don't think he needed to go fast.
No.
Nothing was going to change.
Plenty of time.
What was there to go fast with anyway? He wasn't lying to them. And even here, I don't know about you, but I was like, he's not any threat. He's Alucard.
I know.
Like, you aren't going to be able to kill him here in any way, shape or form. But I like the fact that he didn't immediately jump to that.
Nope.
He tried to talk him down. I think if they'd let him go, he'd have forgiven them. Yes. He might have sent them away, but he'd have forgiven them. But unfortunately, he got to stake him. So he uses his sword to slit their throats. And you get a pretty horrendous scene as they slowly bleed to death in the bed. And he tells them he didn't lie to them. I don't lie to you.
His lying, man, about the magic.
Indeed. Again, and you know this is going to have an effect on a man that wasn't already in a good place, you know?
Yeah.
The monastery is collapsing as Trevor and Cypher escape outside. Coming out, they survey the destruction, and Cypher then sees the judge, who is on his last legs. Not quite dead yet, but not far off it. He tells them he's killed Salah, and then tells them where he went. He asks for his weapon so that he can take it to hell to kill Salah again when he arrives. Wicked line. Bill Nighy as the voice was brilliant in this role.
Yeah, it's fine.
Before we ask Cypher to burn his house down, then he dies. I was like, wait, why?
Why? Yeah.
Okay. We see Salah racing to the secret path, one that actually leads to a pit of spikes, and Salah dies. I was actually a little bit here. I was like, wow, this show is just so much death.
Yep.
Like, this point, so much death. I think they worked really hard on this to make you feel like there is no end to the destruction.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Someone else is always going to be there to fuck things up.
When Salah fell and the camera was zooming around, I thought then they're going to zoom to the little boy.
Right.
That's what I thought. And then that might have been the end of it. But they didn't do it. They done it better.
In a better way. Yeah, it was something worse, really. Having freed himself, Alucard weeps on the floor. Trevor and Cypher, obviously following the path of Salah, investigate the pit. And Cypher notices the pit has been used a lot before, as it's filled with bones. Small bones. And you're just like, you can feel it, feel it. And you can see it on our faces, concerned. They arrive at the judge's house and decide to investigate before they burn it down. So they decide not to follow the judge's instruction, instead investigate. Inside, they find a key. And Trevor decides to open the door, one that does appear to be hidden. He does this because he thinks there could be stuff the survivors could use, even if Cypher's like, maybe we shouldn't really do this. It's not stuff that people can use as inside, unfortunately. What is inside are shelves. Shelves with children's shoes. And it all just falls into place. The judge has been killing children by luring them into the pit. And I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
What?
It was Trevor's face, and then he had the flashbacks of him telling him things.
The apple and the things he says. It all just falls into like, dush.
You see Trevor break.
Just what have you already gone through? What did you want? You came to Lindenfell for a chance of peace for a while to get off the road, and you've entered into horror. You meet someone like the judge who you think is there to protect this town and is a good person and all that, and it turns out he might have been the worst of all.
And it just shows that Isaac's right, really.
It's just evil everywhere they turn. Yep. Evil everywhere they turn, and that's the problem. Isaac can't be right. Jesus. They burn the judge's house down and leave Lindenfell. At Carmilla's house, her little cottage, castle, Lenore arrives to meet her sisters and reveals Hector and what she's done. Gleefully, she presents the sisters with their own slave rings, which will force Hector, and by extension, his night creatures to be loyal to them. Even Carmilla is impressed. The joke is Lenore is sticking to her end, declaring that Hector is free to roam the castle and not to be touched. So there's your reward, mate.
Yeah.
Still a slave.
This scene, I thought this is where she's going to try and fight for power. I've got the ring. I've got the power. But she shot me because she gave all the rings.
Stop jumping to these things.
I'm suspicious.
They're sisters. They've made that perfectly clear across 10 episodes. 10 episodes be loyal to each other.
I still think something's going
to happen.
There's not.
But you're acting like there's a balance. There's no one on top. It's a balanced table.
They all speak quite low of her, I think.
No, they joke about her.
But
they joke about each other. They joke about Carmilla.
Something's going to happen in season 4. I'm calling it.
I'm going to spoil it for you then. You're completely wrong. They're completely wrong. I'm spoiling that for you. I'm sorry. But this has never been about power for any of them. They are united. The power is for the 4 of them. There's been no hints to that.
Fine. She's going to die saving Hector.
Wow, okay. Alright, stop trying to jump to conclusions. Watch what's in front of you and what the show's telling you. Although she also makes a point, like, don't think for a second. And the other thing is, stop thinking Lenore's a good person. Because here, when Hector tries to speak, she tells him to be quiet and says, the real people are talking. And I was like, she might be the worst of them. She might be the worst of the 4 of them. Indeed. Carmilla doesn't hide her disdain and hatred for humans. The other 2 are so tied up with each other to care about anything else.
She's vicious.
Lenore might be the worst because she does it with words. Mate, yeah. Finally, Alucard. We end with Alucard, who is not in a good place. He's returned from foraging to the castle. Do you remember how the show this season started?
Yeah.
Same thing, how we end. He talks about the possibility of putting up do not enter signs and danger signs, stop people coming around. However, as he laughs to himself, he did something else. Something much worse. He has put Sumian Taka's impaled bodies outside the castle as a warning to future visitors. Which, going all the way back to the very, very start of this show, is what Dracula had done before. And that's it. There you go. That's how we wrap things up. With everyone in different places still, and everyone in different messes. We have Isaac contemplating the fact that he might just stay and build his own city and his own life in the other side of the world. You have Hector now going to be forced and to create the Night Creature army that Carmilla's creating. Going to be able to create now. You have Trevor and Cypher lost, but ultimately still forced to do battle with evil because it's all around them.
Yep.
And then you have Alucard alone in his castle, probably now slowly going more and more mad, which is kind of what happened to Dracula.
Everyone's broken, man.
Everyone is broken. But there you go. It's incredible, isn't it? It's an incredible ending. It's an incredible show. It's an incredible season. With a few more filler episodes than I would have liked. I think this one could have been 8.
Yeah.
And a couple of the, particularly 7 and 8, episodes 7 and 8, cut down and added to other bits of episodes. And it would have been a tighter run. But I was still super satisfied by this. I think it's fair to say, based off every show we've done and every movie we've done in the They Made What Into a series and movie run, Castlevania is the best thing.
Yeah.
As it comes to adaptions of the video games, adaptions of the stories, adaptions of the characters, I think it's the best thing.
Yeah, I mean,
consistently good.
My knowledge of obviously Castlevania isn't too great from the games, but as a TV show, yeah.
Sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah, without that, I mean.
But the fact that it's so appealing when you don't know the games that's why it's successful.
And it makes me want to go back and play the games.
Yeah, right?
100%, yeah.
So I had a similar thing. A few weeks ago, I realised that while I'd played Castlevanias in recent years, I'm a big fan of the Lords of the Shadows games, the ones that came in the Xbox 360, I realised I didn't know too much about the originals. I've played the original Castlevania. I played Symphony of the Night. Probably the one I played the most from that era. But the Castlevania collection has them all, including lots of unreleased games that were never released in this country for a reasonable price. I bought it and was like, I'm going to go back and play that because also this is in the modern day, it's got like the fast forward, pause, quick saves.
Yeah.
So whereas the games are really hard now because you can quick save at any point, because you can rewind and stuff like that, it should make completing them easy. And I was like, I'm going to fucking play all the Castlevanias. That's my plan. based off this show.
Yep.
There you go. What more can you do? That was episode 10, Abandon All Hope. And that was season 3. You know what comes next? Season 4. But we'll get to that in the next set of videos. For now, let us know what you think of this one. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It is gratefully appreciated. You can find us over at gbhbl.com, our full website, where reviews, news and so much more goes up daily. We're also on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, at gbhbl. Just search for gbhbl and you will find us out there. We also have merchandise on sale. You can access the shop via the website.